What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. It's officially 2020. It's crazy to say, crazy to think. So pretty much we're going to go where we left off on the last video, which is getting the B series painted, or prep for paint at least. So we'll go over a couple things here and get right on it. So as you can see, a couple little things that are different here. I didn't really think it was necessary to show you guys, but we taped off everything that needs to be taped off. Same with this side and this side. The valve cover obviously is a little bit different than what you guys have been normally seeing that's been on the engine, and that's because the one that was on here we're actually going to use on another car, so we don't really want to mess it up. This one's pretty messed up here, so this is a spare that we have laying around, so this is the one that we're going to use, just so we don't have to worry about masking anything. You know, we'll use the valve cover as our masking tool, and it'll prevent any overspray getting onto the internals of the engine. So like I said, everything that is necessary to tape off, we've taped off here. All the hardware that you guys see that's on here, all the bolts, that's all coming off anyways. We're going to be replacing it with all the Downstar hardware. So with that said, it's not really necessary for us to take everything off. If anything, it helps us because we don't get any paint inside of the threads. That'll help us get the new hardware in there clean without having to run a chaser through there and clean the threads out. So that's that. Like we talked before, we are running a new water pump, new oil pump, so all that stuff there can get spray painted. We don't really care about it. It's coming off anyways. Same with the oil pan. Again, we're getting a new oil pan, so this one that's on here, it's on here good. It's going to help us basically seal from any overspray or spray getting into the engine block or on the crank or anything like that. So we're just going to keep this oil pan on here for now. Once the engine's painted, we'll take the oil pan off and then put the new one on, and it'll look a lot cleaner than trying to mask this off with a new oil pan, all that stuff. It's a lot easier process. Now obviously this is going to be different for many of you. Not everybody's going to be replacing all these parts like we are, and that's okay. You just got to spend a little bit more time masking things off. For example, like the oil pan, like the valve cover. If you guys got extra parts laying around, use the stuff you're not going to use. All right, so from here, as you remember, we've cleaned all this off as best as we can. We got all the oil off as best as we can using the degreaser, using water and brake clean. Now the next step is to basically prep the base for spray paint. That's where this comes in. 3M bristle pad, call it 3M pad. There's so many names for them. You guys have seen these before. This is what you need to prep the surface for primer. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll do a little bit here just so you guys can see how this is going to work. But basically, for example, on all the clean surfaces that you have that you're going to use, that you're actually going to paint, you just want to grab this pad and then just start going over it. Just like that. Now, you're going to create some dust. It's the bristle pad's working by, you know, taking off all the debris as much as you can. It's going to leave some dust. So what you're going to want to do, the best that you can, you're going to want to blow it all off with pressured air. That's honestly the best way to do it. Hopefully you guys have access to pressured air. Blow it all out once you get this surface nice and prepped. You don't have to sit there for hours. You know, you're just basically scuffing everything up, giving the primer something to stick to. That's basically the best way I can explain it. I'm sure there's definitely plenty of other videos out there that'll go into deeper detail on why they use this bristle pad. So I don't know if you guys can see it right now, but just even hitting it with this, the motor already looks fantastic. I mean, honestly, depending on your goals for your car, this alone will get you a nice little look, you know, almost factory new. don't think it shows up that good on the video, but anyways, in person it looks great. You see all the red dust from the pad. Like I said, we'll get that, we'll blow everything off, and then we'll start shooting some primer on it. We keep the oil filter that you're not going to use on there. That's a good thing to help mask the oil filter housing. That's a quick and easy thing instead of having to wrap it with tape. So we'll get this thing all scuffed up, and then we'll start applying some primer.
I'm conquering this fear, I'm bursting through the ceiling. I'm following your lead, I'm following this feeling. Conquering this fear, I'm bursting through the ceiling. Bursting through the ceiling, bursting through the
All right, here we are, all primered. Personally, primer is like one of my favorite steps. You start to see how things are gonna come out to a certain extent, you know. But anyways, lay down a quick primer. I did 3 coats on this one. You know, you do however you want to do it, whatever you think is necessary. This is the primer we use. It's the engine enamel primer by Duplicolor. We did use the gray primer. That's just what it's labeled as. That's the part number there, the DE1612. You can find it anywhere. But yeah, that's what we use when we do actual spray paint on an engine, or actually a lot of parts, even if it's not specifically for the engine. If we're just spray painting something for a non-show car, that's what we do. So now time for some color. So this is the one. This is the color we went with. It's the very high temperature color, flame proof. This is the flat aluminum, SP117. So the flat aluminum, we went with this one. I think it's going to be a good contrast to the color of the downsaw hardware that we chose. So that's the main reason why we chose the flat aluminum. We've used multiple colors in the past. Black, silver, gloss aluminum. I mean, you know, this is where you guys get to be creative with your work, right? So this is what we chose. Time to put some color on this engine, and then that's it. See what it comes out like. All right, well, there we have it. The color is on. I'm digging it. Flat aluminum. Well, the fun part from here, we get to put all the nice parts we just bought onto the motor. From there, goes in the car. Yeah, I'm really liking this color a lot. It's gonna go good with the Downstar hardware color choice and the rest of the pieces to the engine that we have. I'm digging it. So, another episode down. I don't exactly know what the next episode's gonna be about, but more than likely we're gonna get all the timing installed, new oil pump, timing belt, water pump, all that good stuff. We'll get all that stuff taken care of probably next episode, and then we'll just keep moving on from there. Probably gonna want to let this sit at least 24 hours before we take the masking tape off, and that's when it's really gonna look good. We'll get the new oil pan on, get the new valve cover on. I'm really excited to see how this thing looks. So that's pretty much it. Peace out to the next episode.